Hey everybody, we are live. This is Sara and Brandon
What's
from
up?
harmoniousduo.com, and we wanted to come and talk to you guys today about something that, I'm sure many of you can relate to. And that's the realization that you want to spend more time with, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your friends, or maybe you're just tired of not being able to do what you want to do on a day-to-day basis that brings you joy, that brings you passion, and makes you happy, because you're instead having to spend all that time doing things that leave you unfulfilled and without the time, money, or freedom that you really want from life. So that's what we wanted to come and talk with you guys about today, is how, we were once in that same exact position, but because of the fact that we were willing to kind of think outside the box, and we were committed to our overall vision for our family, for ourselves, and the lives that we wanted, we were able to seize an opportunity that was presented to us, the same opportunity that you'll have at the end of this, conversation, and take action on it, and have that possibility of being able to step into that life that you see for yourself versus living in one that maybe you're not truly happy with right now.
Yeah, and the content that we're gonna explain to you today is gonna help you in your business and all those things. And so that's why we encourage you to pull out a pen, pull out some paper, take some notes for today. And before we get into all of that juicy stuff, we'd like to share a little bit about ourselves so that you can know where we come from and maybe where we're going a little bit. But really the main reason why we even got into this opportunity was a little bit about what she just said. But we always had before we met each other, we always had a vision for our family. And lucky enough, I was blessed enough to find a woman who actually shared the same vision that I had. So we actually, what we found out was that in order for me to do what I wanted and to create that vision and to make that vision come to life the same way that she was going to have to do, it was going to separate us. We didn't really think that far in advance when we were going through this vision in our head. We thought that this was powerful. She was going to be a stay-at-home mother. I was going to be a provider for the house. And then we would live happily ever after, right? And,
like most people think.
Exactly. And the whole reason why we thought that would be because it was going to keep our daughter out of, daycare. We were going to be able to she was at least going to be able to be the main influence. There was a lot of things we were going to be able to, I hate the word control, but we were going to be able to control a little bit about what she was going to be influenced by. And that was a big deal of us, because we all know that the most that you learn is in the first 5 years of your life. So this is very crucial for us when we found out that she was pregnant, for us to find out a better way of doing things, because we were both stuck in the restaurant industry for a little over a decade. And that, my friends, if you're watching, that is a painful feeling if you don't enjoy it. If you enjoy doing that, then, we encourage you that the tools that we have can actually help you get more people to your tables. If you're a full-time server and that's what you want to do, it's crazy how it could actually happen like that. But we didn't enjoy that. Mm-hmm. We were not fond of the way that we had to cross our fingers for good, sections and hope that people tipped us what we felt we were worth. And then having to
got scheduled on a good night.
Yeah. And then having to, how about this? Do you guys remember this? Anybody who's worked for like a restaurant or any type of job like that, you have to request days off. I remember having to go in at the beginning of the year, every January, and requesting days off all the way up until December of that year, just because I wanted to be that first person. You'd initial it, you would date it, and then you own that day off. So that way, if you still had a job with that place when that day came around, you had seniority on, what days you had off. And I wasn't okay with having to, remember a year in advance what days I wanted off. That whole spontaneous living and lifestyle that we enjoy so much can only come from making the decision that we made about 18 months ago. And that's why we're in front of you today, is because, it's changed the way that not only do we do business, but the change that we treat each other, or the way that we treat each other. And that is beneficial, and it's beyond anything that we can ever.
For everybody, because thinking about it now, the fact that we've been able to position ourselves to where we are now living a life that we did truly see for ourselves, because the fact that we're able to have this opportunity to help other people step into that type of life that they want for themselves. And because of the fact that it's forced us to become, better communicators, develop our relationship, not just professionally, but personally as well, we've been able to see how it kind of ripple effects outward, and the way that we're living now is positively impacting people who are involved in our lives. And that's just been really cool, because, they see that there's something different. They see there's a change. We're happier, we're closer together, which was, pretty insane, because we were pretty close to the hip, as was before we started this business, and people thought we were nuts. But, just all the perks, all the unrealized benefits that come from making a certain type of decision to go after what you want and have access to tools that can help you do that. You know, it's been a crazy ride.
It's been awesome. And so that's a little bit about us. And so we get into the content. We're going to talk today about the advantages of.
We're going to do like
I don't want to do it backwards, but
we're going to do like the ultimate grudge match. We're going to do offline versus online. You know, there's
a big difference.
There's the big comparison when it comes to taking advantage of opportunities. Do you take advantage of an offline opportunity like a traditional brick and mortar shop, or do you take advantage of something that's online, something that is still a little what's the right word, like a little taboo to some people, right? Because, it's the internet. Oh my gosh.
And you never know what's going on.
Yeah. And so because of the fact that Brandon and I have experience with attempting to build businesses offline, right? Because you have to keep in mind, you have to remember that because we were so dedicated to our vision of being present parents, being the main influence in our daughter's life, and being able to live together and enjoy life as a family the way we wanted to, the first thing we thought of was, okay, well, in order to do that, we have to go into business for ourselves.
Right.
And we thought realistically, the only option was a traditional offline business. So we've attempted food trucks, we've attempted bake shops, we've attempted trophy truck places. It's not like we have zero experience in attempting to build these things. And so because of the fact that we've dabbled both offline and now we're online, we've been able to see the pros of working online versus the cons or disadvantages that tend to come with working offline. And that's what we wanted to come and talk to you guys about today, the ultimate grudge match, offline versus online.
And the big thing about the big principle, okay, that I would love for you guys to take away from this whole thing, this whole hangout today, would be that everything that you're going to be taught when you take advantage of what we have to offer is taught in principles. So what we've actually been able to learn from this online experience has actually been able to help our offline building as well. And so that's what that's a big factor in why we still do what we do, is because not only do you have to stick with what we're teaching you to online products and sales and stuff like that, it doesn't have to. If you're an offline person and you're just stuck, you're like, we've plateaued, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. We
can help. And that's the biggest part that I want to, I would love for you guys to take apart or take away from this, is to understand that after the end of this, all the things that we're going to teach you, the advantages and the disadvantages, and then when you take access and then you lock arms with us, you could take everything we're teaching you and build your business offline in a fantastic manner. I've been actually able to do that myself, and it's been amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's been great to see. So just jump right into the offline.
Yeah, so we'll first share with you a little bit of a breakdown of the disadvantages of going offline. And one of them is the fact that it's the most relatable to anyone who's even thought of going offline business, and that's the fact that it costs a massive amount of money. You have to find a facility to house your business in, right? You need real estate, and that's not cheap. You have the cost for leases. If you have to build your own place to house your company or your business, you've got to build for construction, and then you've got to pay for all the fees associated with the people who build your business. Then there's employee costs, facility costs. I mean, everything racks up so quick.
And I just want to cut in real quick, because exactly what she just said with the employee costs and the facility costs. Now, just imagine if you wanted to cut all that out and do it yourself, like how she wanted to do with her food or with her bake shop. Now, we said at the beginning of this that we wanted to spend time with our family. And what ended up happening when we decided to go after our dreams and try and make them real was we found that we were creating more jobs for ourselves rather than an opportunity. Mm-hmm. We weren't taking advantage of it. We were actually enslaving ourselves more by creating something just that would
job for myself, since it was me, myself, and I. There were, I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, well, I can do it by myself for like the first 2 years.
Exactly.
I can make all the sweets.
We thought the same thing.
Make all the, all the treats and stuff that I want to make. I can go set up the booths. I can go, handle all the shops and shows that I want to house my booth at. I can do all the deliveries. Oh, Jesus, no.
It's crazy.
No,
and then to go back to our first point with the, the less expensive, when me and my buddy decided to go and venture off into doing a mini trophy truck kind of indoor facility, go-kart kind of deal, the money that we had to raise was $1 million. Now, if that scares the hell out of you, then, I mean, it should, because it's a lot of money. And a lot of people aren't prepared to go in and give presentations to ask for $1 million from people, or to go ask for, 100,000 from 10 different people. A lot of people, they're not equipped with those skills. So it's daunting, it's scary, and it takes a lot of experience before you can get up to that level when people can actually give you that response or that authority. You know, when they look at you as an authority and they go, okay, well, I'm going to listen to this man and I'm going to.
Because he knows what he's talking about. So I feel more comfortable investing my money into his business because he sounds and
looks a proven track record.
And he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. And that takes time. That takes money. And that's what we were trying to explain is, you know, if you have that offline dream, go with it, but understand that it's going to be a little bit more expensive, which isn't a big deal, but just be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, you know, another thing with going offline is the fact that because you're most likely going to have some sort of physical facility for your business, that requires you to do a lot of research with your state, with your local city, with your communities, like zoning permits. You have to go get registered, right? You have to get a state license, you have to get a local license. Yeah, things like, I mean, like there's tons of little things that when we first started building our offline or, you know, attempting to build our offline businesses, we had no idea it was so expansive, so massive. Like just having to handle the paperwork alone was a huge deal for us because we're like, oh my, like the paperwork alone will take us like 5 years to get through. Right. It's crazy. And then there's all the legal aspects that go into play with offline. I mean, you've really got to mentally prepare yourself for what's to come just in the initial design phase of building your business offline. Another disadvantage we noticed is the fact that it's a smaller immediate market reach. For me, for example, with my bake shop, I was limited to maybe.
Would you order, if she lived in Las Vegas, would you order her cupcakes if you lived in Texas?
No, probably not, because I probably wouldn't be able to expand to you yet, not for a long time.
Yeah,
and then, and like, what's Las Vegas? Is what, like 50 miles all the way around?
Oh, it's small. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah,
like
it's really small, but just because I live in Las Vegas and it's a small, you know, constructed town, you know, I was thinking, okay, well, that's no big deal. I can totally handle a 50-mile radius. No. When I say smaller immediate market reach, especially if you're building an offline business and you plan on footing it by yourself for a little bit until you can afford employees like I was, then your limit is 5, maybe 10 miles tops. And out of a 50-mile market reach, it's really not that much. So you're kind of like, you're kind of constricting your own results before you even get started. And what's another one?
Well, when you're offline working, you definitely have to be there more often. There's more, that's why you hire GMs and you hire people like that to take your place. But
that's later down the road.
That's training. That's trust. That's a lot of things that have to be built before you can let go of those responsibilities and allow somebody else to kind of take the reins. And so it requires more of your physical appearance and more of your physical, presence.
That time freedom that you wanted for yourself, which is why you went into business, you know, was because you thought to yourself, okay, well, I can build a business, I can see profits, and then I can have time to do whatever I want because I have a profitable business. Well, now that time that you dreamt of just got smacked right out of your hands because of the fact that a physical business requires so much of your time and, like you said, physical presence. That's not something you can sacrifice, especially in your startup phase. You really have to be there almost 24/7.
And that's when you're not getting paid for those hours. So you have to have kind of a supplemental income at that time while you're going after your dreams of building this offline business, which it makes it very difficult because if you're going to put in 8 hours a day at a job, you're going to have to put in 16 hours a day there, which takes away 24 hours from your family. That isn't what anybody got into business for. And a lot of people will say, well, you're not willing to sacrifice for those first 2 years so I can get something that I want in the long term. And that's fantastic. And I encourage you to do that. But there's an easier way to get that momentum started. And that's what we're going to explain to you at the end of this is going to be able to get you to say, wow, hold on. So I could get the ball rolling without being in front of everybody, without making those phone calls, without doing things traditionally that are going to take me away from my family. And that's why, you know,
because you do, like what he said is very important. You do have to be willing, no matter what kind of business that you want to go into, you do have to be willing to make the sacrifice. And if it comes down to it, you have to be able, you know, to put your money where you put your mouth where your money was and be able to make that sacrifice. But if you have an opportunity to not have to make that sacrifice, right? To not have to give up so much of your time from what it is you originally started this business for, why not take advantage of that opportunity where you can do that?
It's a simple question. I mean, it's no reason to to contemplate over it, you know. But it was something that we came across, and then we asked ourselves that same question. You know, why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
You know.
And one of the things that we noticed pretty quickly with when we were attempting to build the food truck, he and his friend were attempting to build a food truck, was that when we were doing our projection of numbers, we realized that it's going to take a really long time for them to even break even from all the money they had to invest, from all the hours they were going to have to put into making that food truck successful. It was going to take them, what was it? What did you guys project? Like almost a year to break even, and then 2 years to start seeing profits?
It was something like that. It was pretty close to that. It was right around 18 months. Yeah. And the reason why that wasn't, but go ahead. Yeah, I don't want to take away the story, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like that. That's another big disadvantage to building offline. It's the fact that you have to be willing to accept the fact that it's going to take you a lot longer to break even. You know, normally depending on what kind of business that you attempt to build for yourself, and it's going to take you usually longer to go from breaking even to seeing profits. And you as the business owner, you only start getting paid when you get profits, not when you start breaking even, but when you get profits. So the longer it takes you to get profits, you know, the longer it takes you to break even, the longer it's going to take you to.
Unless you're paying yourself as an employee, and then that's taking away money from the payroll, which is adding more money, and then you have to get that approved by the investors. There's so much stuff that's involved when it comes to trying to do stuff offline with gathering funds and, you know, finding the place and doing all those things. And those are fun for people when they actually have the time and the money to do it. And that's what we want to help you with. We want to help you gather that time if your dream is to build offline and online, or if your dream is to get offline and to get online. You know, these things are all going to be, you know, available to you, you know, so.
Yeah.
What's another thing? What's normally?
I think what he's trying to remember is one of the points that we were talking about before we started this conversation, was the fact that, you know, offline, you're really kind of dependent on your local market. You know, we said earlier that one of the disadvantages was that you had a smaller market reach. Well, not only do you have a smaller market reach, but you also have to, you're kind of dependent on your local market. So the climate of the economy in that immediate area that you're subjected to it plays a huge factor in whether or not you're going to be successful, you know, especially if in order to be successful, you have to take all of what, you know, you didn't want to sacrifice, like your time, and just kind of throw it out the door.
Right.
You know, if you've got to put in 3 times the work just because your local market is, you know, it kind of in a bad economy. So, you know, you don't have as many people going out and spending their money, and you obviously need them to come spend their money, you know, then you're really just kind of stuck, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. And when you're working offline versus online, which we're about to get into right now, you're going to see a big light, you know, night and day. Yeah, night and day. And just because, now this is a big thing that I had to learn the hard way, was I had some success offline, not much success. Okay. I had very small success. And I thought that I could take what I knew offline, the same kind of winning strategies and principles that I was taking offline, and take them online. And the thing that I found out was it's reversed. Offline principles don't necessarily work the same as online, but yet online principles, what I found out working online, you could actually take those and bring those to your offline market, if that makes any sense. I thought that I could go into my online business thinking I knew what I knew.
Yeah, you can't go offline to online and it be the exact same and it work the same. The only way it really truly works is taking online offline.
And the reason why that is because the principles that are applied online are exactly that. They're principles. People will tell you foundational principles in offline business building. They'll teach you things that'll work as offline principles. So does it make any sense? So they're going to tell you that they're principles because they work for everything that's offline. But the moment that you take that to an online business, those principles are no longer principles. They just work for offline markets.
Yeah.
Does it make any sense? So principles are universal. That's what the whole meaning of it is. It means that it could work anywhere at any time because it is basically
they're more flexible.
Yeah, it's universal, you know. So a universal law would be like gravity, in case that anybody's wondering what the hell is a principle. A universal principle would be gravity, would be you know, something like that. When you jump off of a building, you don't tell yourself you're going to float, even though you could tell yourself.
You can tell yourself, but it's not going to work.
But it's not going to happen, you know. And that's why no matter where you're at in the world, you're going to feel gravity. That's a principle. Okay, same thing with here. No matter where you're at in the world, once you take what we're teaching you online and take that offline, it's going to work. And we can't guarantee your success, but we can guarantee that if you're doing what we're saying, you will see results offline. And that is a big deal for people who aren't seeing those results right now.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, the last 2 points, you know, we'll wrap up the disadvantages so we can shift the light to a more positive focus with the advantages. But, you know, is the fact that, you know, you're very dependent offline on strict business hours. If you live in an area where everything shuts down by 10,
that's a really good one. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
What, like, you're only allowed to be open for like 12 hours, really?
If
because
that.
you have to be able to have time prior to officially opening to the public to prepare for the day. And that requires a few hours of time. And then you have to close down and then prepare the shop for the, you know, to close and then go for the next, like, it's just a big, huge hassle. And, you know, another one is the fact that normally an offline business, you're required to stay where your business is. Even if you franchise out your business, someone is always stuck where that business is. Whether it's you or your GM that you hire or someone to oversee that location, someone is stuck, unable to leave that area to go do what they want to do, to go enjoy the money that they're making with their family or their friends, just doing things that make them happy, because they have to be where the business is at all times, which is basically just a shekel.
And some people enjoy that because they're like, well, I'm getting paid good money to be a GM and things like that. And we're not trying to take away any of that. What we're trying to enlighten you on is that there could be a better way, an easier way for you to bring, if you are a GM right now, bring an idea to your boss and say, hey, look, maybe we can systemize this. Give me some free time. And if I could show you that I could get this done without taking money or time away from the business or my efforts any lower,
while increasing your profits,
is that okay for me to give it a try? And that's what we're telling people to do, or teaching people to do, is to use your creativity, to get behind your skills, and to understand that just because that other people have needed things to be done a certain way, that doesn't mean that it's forever needed to be done that way. And the things that make leaders is their ability to adjust and to accept change. So if you ever bring something to a leader of yours that could help the business grow while giving you more time freedom, and they tell you no, how can you continue to look at them with respect and say, you have my best interest at heart? It's very difficult to do that. So that's why we teach our team and people that are following us to, hey, look, you know what? Stand behind your skills, figure out a way to systematically approach whatever problem that you're trying to solve. And then that way it can take the place of you without losing any effort, without losing any of the steam that you have while you're there. You know, and so if we get into the the online,
advantages of online, for just, you know, from our personal experience, and, you know, one of them is the fact that there's lesser startup costs. Now, of course, every business requires some sort of financial investment. Let's be real here. We're all
and some are greater than others, and even online.
Yes, we have seen plenty of online opportunities that give us the option to build a business with them, and their startup costs are like $15,000. Some have been like $20,000, if not more.
And believe me, we would do whatever it takes if we found value in those opportunities.
Exactly.
And that's why we're hoping that, you know, with what we're saying to you, you're going to see the same thing that we saw in this one. Because if we're passing up opportunities of, you know, saying and promising things that, you know, we would never tell you right now personally, then, you know, maybe you're going to be able to see that, okay, these guys really do have my best interest at heart. You know, they really do want to see me succeed. Because that's really the reason why we're here, is to see everyone that's out there that wants to build that freedom in their life that they're not experiencing right now. We've only been able to experience it just recently, and it's felt so good for us. And we've only been able to do that to online by being online. And that's, you know, that's exciting for us. It's
been fun. Like, once we started shifting into results, it's been fun.
And if you think about it, what she mentioned before with the facility costs, and how I was saying how I had to raise $1 million to get to that trophy truck. When you go online, there's the minimal, there's no facility costs. Think of your facility as your laptop.
Yeah.
So if you want a giant facility, you can go get that nice fresh MacBook that you like. That'll cost about $1,500. You know, you might be able to get one that's probably more expensive if you really wanted to go gung ho, but you could actually start up your get your facility, get your whole business going. You know, your facility, your computer for less than $400. I've seen some, you can get Craigslist for $100.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to not take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Especially when the effects of being able to go online are as big and impactful as they are.
Yeah, because, you know, like you said, you're not having to pay for leases. You're not having to pay rental association fees. You're not having to pay construction, right? You're not having to pay for any of that stuff that comes associated with a brick and mortar shop. And not to mention, like, one of the coolest things about the fact that of going online is the fact that you have the flexibility and the freedom to conduct business, regardless of what kind, anywhere that you can establish an internet connection. So if that means that, you want to go to, Panama City, right, for 2 or 3 weeks and enjoy the sun and the sand, as long as you've got access to internet and you've got your laptop, you've got your business.
And what's even funny about that story is I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that when we were in Lake Las Vegas, we had no cell phone service out there. Okay,
zero cell phone service. We lived in Las Vegas, and we only traveled like 30 minutes for this business event that we went.
But it's like an island, so
our phones weren't working.
Nothing.
Our iPads weren't working. The internet connection in the hotel wasn't working.
And that would be like equivalent to you and your offline business having the door shut for that amount of time.
Yeah, for 3 days.
That's exactly what that equivalent to. But guess what happened with us? We actually received leads into our business during those times.
Customers who were interested in what we had to offer, despite the fact that we were technically closed for business because our internet connection wasn't working.
And that
powerful.
Cool. That's powerful. That was
pretty cool. And it's like, wait, we have no internet connection.
On vacation,
we have no ability to conduct business. And we're still getting people who are like knocking down our door being like, I want what you have. Please sell it to me as soon as possible.
It's pretty cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Pretty cool. And then you figure more expansive market opportunity. So like we mentioned in the beginning, when she said that you're stuck in the local market, it doesn't have to be like that when you go online. Now, instead of thinking locally, you get to think globally. And that's powerful for people who have big messages. If you're somebody who wants to clean up the earth, it's very difficult to help clean up the earth when you live in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only people you can talk to are the people in that town.
It's very difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible to make that impact. I'm just saying it's very difficult. And us being humans, we like it to be simple, right? That's what the simple, the better. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. We're just saying it's simpler to do this and it's more effective. It gets things done and it compresses time to where you now get the same result half the time, spend the other half the time doing what you want. And if that doesn't sound like fun to you, then I don't know what would, man, because we have a blast being able to see that the things that took us a month to do before offline, we get to do in a week. The things that took us a week before offline, we get to do in a day. The results don't change. Actually, they get better with the time that we've been able to compress. And we only be able to do that online.
Yeah. And one of the other cool things, kind of like feeding off of what he just said, is the fact that when you transition your business to online, you have this insane ability to be able to produce, like, at minimum 2 times the result that you would be producing in an offline business, but in half the time. So like he said, what could have taken us in our business, in our offline business, a month to generate in revenue and in profits for us online, we have the ability to do that in 2 weeks. We have the ability to do that in 1 week. We have the ability to do that in 1 day if we wanted, depending on the level of effort that we put into marketing our business for the day.
Yeah.
But the possibility, the ability to produce 2 times the results in a shorter period of time, the fact that that's even available to you, I mean, what business wouldn't want to take advantage of? Well, hold on, you're telling me that I have the opportunity to make twice my monthly results in half the time? Like, that's possible?
So what happens if I work the whole month then? That's the question. That's the kind of question I'm asking. So if I could get twice the results in half the time, what happens if I work the full time? Am I going to get 4 times the results? And that's up to you and what your dedication and motivation and commitment is and what your purpose is. And I mean, going online, being able to take our vision of being able to stay at home and do that kind of stuff. I mean, I can't even imagine how life would be without having this opportunity to be able to say, I get to see my daughter every morning. I get to say goodnight to her every night. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing.
And it's really cool because they have their own little ritual. I'll put Savanna to sleep first. I'll usually read her a story, and then I'll sing her a couple of songs. And then she always has me go get Brandon, because that's part of her nighttime ritual, is that she gets alone time with Brandon so that they have a father-daughter song that they sing to each other nearly every single night. And because of the fact that we've been able to strengthen that relationship by him being able to be here with us, right? Instead of off spending his time at a corporate job or stuck slave to a food truck or something like that. Instead, he's getting to build this amazing relationship with his daughter that most fathers, unfortunately, don't have the ability to do right now. And that's just, as a mom, that's just been really amazing to see.
Been really amazing as a father to be a part of, I'll tell you that. And to get to the very one of the last points is, we mentioned before that you are limited to about 8, 12, maybe 15 hours a day that you keep your doors open for your business if you're working offline. Now, one of the cool things that happened for us last night, it's been happening quite often in this past few weeks, is that we were able to wake up to, right? We were able to wake up to a commission that we were able to make during, it was 12:30 at night. I was asleep. I know I was asleep. I don't know if she was asleep yet, but I mean,
I was asleep.
You figure it's 12:36 at night. We wake up the next morning, we see that we made a commission, and that was basically when your doors would have been closed.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to make a phone call. We didn't have to. We
haven't communicated with this person,
and it's not by our choice. We're attempting to we always do this. We have the information, but some people want to do it on their own, and they just see the value in what we have to offer, and they're like, you know what, I can make this happen. It's really simple, and I want to see the results fast, and I want to do it on my own, and that's totally fine. You know what I mean? But I'm just letting you know that the possibilities are that we couldn't have done that offline. Once our doors are shut and we close for the day, that sign says, sorry, we're closed. That sign that's never flipped around for us online. We get to constantly and continuously.
As an offline business, unless you've done a bang up job of building relationships with the people in your local community, it's highly unlikely that they're going to be back tomorrow right when you open to resume that sale.
Right. And I mean, when you could wake up in the morning and you could see that people are buying from you and purchasing from you, stuff that you have to offer, and it's happening in your sleep, then you start to wonder, okay, well, how can I scale this up? What can I do to make more of this happen so that I can make more in my sleep than I can when I'm awake? Mm-hmm. And that's something I've never had the ability to ask myself.
No, because I mean, it's when we have these days, because we've had days where it's happened back to back to back, where we wake up and we have sales that have been processed in our sleep. It's been really, really freaking cool to be able to say, okay, well, the sales that we needed to make during the day, we made already in our sleep. So now we essentially have the whole day free to do what we wanted because we already made what we needed to make for the day. So family, what do you want to go do? Do you want to go to the park? Do you want to go have lunch? Do you want to go just do something? And I think that's just been totally transformational for our family, because the fact that because of the fact that our products and our services are available 24/7 because we're online, the fact that us technically being in business 24/7 hasn't taken away our time from our family. In fact, it's given us more time. That's just been, like, honestly, it's just been mind blowing. It's been really cool to roll over, and the first thing I see is, oh, cool, sale. Hey, you want to go shopping? You want to go see a movie?
and typically we just continue to work because we're a bunch of lamos. But no, we really want to get our name out there. We want to provide value every day. We want to be able to help our team succeed and get to that desired level of success that they want. And we can't do that if we take too many days off. No matter what results we're seeing, a lot of people out there, they'll get comfortable in their own success, and especially offline, because you'll start to see a little bit of money come in, and then you just kind of stay stagnant.
Yeah, you kind of kick back and start resting on your laurels.
And whether you're offline or online, no matter what happens, when you get that gap in there, that time gap, it's over for you. I mean, it's going to take 3 months to get done. So if you stop working on something for a month, it's going to take you about 3 months to get that back to the way it was.
And that's kind of really online or offline.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it doesn't matter what that is. So that's why, we teach consistency, we teach all these things. And it's easier to be consistent online when you can roll out of bed. Honestly, roll out of bed. Not a lot of people will do it. I like to get dressed and get up for the day and feel like I'm, at business. That's how I like to do it. But you do have people who will roll out of bed, open up their laptop, do what they got to do, and then get going for the day. So they literally did everything they needed to do in the first 4 hours right out of bed. That's consistency, because a lot of people, they don't feel they have time to get this stuff done. Well, when you work online, there are no time restraints. There are no time restraints because it's just a matter of how determined you are to get it done. There's 24 hours in the day. You only need about 4 to 5 to sleep, honestly, if you want to be quite honest with anybody who's been successful. They've gone years. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm just saying they've gone years at 4 or 5 hours a night, because they know that there's only a limited amount of hours in the day, but you've got to learn to effectively manage those hours so that you can maximize your results. And if you're not maximizing your results, that's most likely the reason why you're here today watching this, is because the offline business for you is not producing the way that you want it to. Maybe even your online isn't, and that's why you're here. You're like, well, Mish, maybe I can learn something from these guys. You know what I mean? And it's true. I'm glad that you're here, because no matter if you're working offline or online, no matter what challenges you're having right now, as long as those challenges have to do with your revenue raising, or with you getting in front of people and things like that, those are the challenges that you're going to be able to overcome by getting online.
Because one of the things that we're told constantly by the successful leaders that we follow, by just successful people, period, is the fact that time is your most valuable commodity. It's the only thing that cannot be replicated. You can replicate money. We print it every day. You can replicate, periods of freedom. That's actually quite simple to do. But the one thing that you can't replicate is more of your own time. And one of the reasons that drew you into having this conversation with us today is the fact that you've had this realization that you want more time, that you want to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it and not have to stress about it. You want to enjoy your time while you're here on this earth. Well, yes, when you're offline, when you're online, you do have the ability to, like he said, kind of spend it how you want, which can help you or hurt you depending on your level of discipline, how committed you are to your overall vision. That's one of the reasons why, even though we wake up with sales and we wake up, making the profits that we needed to for the day, why we still choose to roll out of bed and continue to produce. And that's because the fact that our driving factor, aside from us wanting to, live our life together as a family the way we want, is so that we can help more people do that for themselves. Whatever type of life that is you want for yourself, we want to be able to help you experience like the amazing feeling that comes from having the freedom of choice that's not constricted in any way to your finances or to your boss or to, just things that don't bring you happiness in life. That's why we continue to do what we do, even though we technically don't have to.
And that's the big reason why we're encouraging you to go online with your business or get online for the first time. Because if you're not online, you're missing out on a ton of resources. You're missing out on a ton of people that are actually interested in what you have to offer. And if you're coachable, if you're ready to make that change, if that's what you're sitting here and you're like, man, I am ready, let's do this, then you got to get on the team. You have to click the button next to us right here on the right-hand side, get access to what we have to offer, which is
we're offering you guys the opportunity to build a business, but more than that, we're offering you an opportunity to tap into something bigger. We're offering ourselves with this opportunity. We're not leaving you hanging. It's not like we're giving you a business and we're telling you, hey, have fun, good luck, we'll see you on the other side. No, we will be here to work with you. We're interested in people who want to work together to help make each other's visions and dreams come true. If you want to go solo, you're more than welcome to do that as well. By taking advantage of the opportunity. But if you realize that there's more power in being connected and having that relationship with people who are really, truly, honestly there to help you succeed, then take advantage of working with us, of working directly with Brandon and I. And for those of you who do see the value in that and you take advantage of the opportunity on the right, then not only will you be able to communicate directly with us, but we'll also be offering a one-time 15 to 30-minute game plan coaching call where we'll help you figure out and dig deep and discover, like, what is your vision? What's your dream? What is the ultimate goal you want for yourself? How can we as a team help get you there in the fastest way possible so that you can get the results that you need to get to reach point B?
That's right.
That's what we're offering you.
And so we hope that you found value in today. Of course, you've seen us pretty much, I think, every day we've been, except for on Sundays, because that's our church day. So we got to give that to God. 6 days a week, guys. Yeah, we're here 6 days a week. And that's why we want you to understand that we're here for you. We're here for you, whether you like it or not, really. You know what I mean? We're going to be here every day and sharing the value that we've got to hopefully help you reach that next level in your business. So take advantage of what we have to offer. We'll be there waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah, if you guys are on Facebook watching this, your button is down below.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's below or up top. And then, like we said, we're here for you. We hope to hear from you. And make sure to stop by. I think we're going to Colorado tomorrow, guys. So it'll be.
So we'll be sending out Monday emails for the time changes. on a couple of the hangouts that we'll be hosting.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we will be having them. Okay, so we're not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
And if you have any other questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us and connect with us. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good day, guys.